My name is Andres Rodriguez. I am the founder and Chief Technology Officer at Nasuni. We're here today to discuss ransomware and why the entire backup model is broken. And this is leaving corporations, large and small, vulnerable to ransomware attacks. I began my career in operations. It was my frustration trying to protect large file servers that led me to start Nasuni. I wanted a system where the file system could protect itself against all kinds of accidents. What we have today is something that is extraordinarily effective against ransomware. But not only that, the conditions have changed so that backup is finally showing all its breaking points. The combination of the pandemic, which has forced companies to extend the networks to reach remote workers, cryptocurrency, which allows nefarious attackers to get paid in a secret way, and rogue states, which allow them to launder that money, has created a booming business with one goal: to take your business hostage. And the keystone to that attack is your own inability to recover in time from a large distributed ransomware attack. We have clients that have dealt with ransomware and have come to Nasuni because they were unable to recover from large attacks, even though they were running the most modern backup, even though they were following all the best practices. This is because the very backup model is broken. It's not any one technology, it's the model itself. The model of copying data back is broken. At Nasuni, about 30% of our clients have been attacked by ransomware. None of them had to pay the ransom. The reason for that is they can recover very, very quickly from even the largest, most distributed attacks on their file servers. If you're interested in understanding that, I suggest you watch the rest of this video. But before we start, I want to show you something I asked our engineering organization to prepare. This is no marketing trick. We designed a simulation of a ransomware attack by corrupting over 229,000 files in a file server. That's about 160 terabytes of data. This is a mild form of an attack. That's a large file server, but still one file server, not hundreds of file servers around the world. And what I want to show you is how long it takes to recover from cloud file storage versus how long it would take to recover from backup technology. Let's start a demo and meet me at the glassboard.
I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say restore this folder. I'm going to set it to its original location. I'm going to say restore folder and start the counter.
I'm going to review the fundamentals of backup. Backup is really a copy operation where you have a media server and here you have your file server. Now, this could be Windows File Server or any other class of file server. During backups, a copy of first all your files and then deltas of your files are copied from the file server to the media server. This here is your backup image. And running this process is typically a backup server that's actually pulling the data from the file servers. Now, what happens when this device becomes compromised? Ransomware attack, the file server fails, anything happens. At that point, we have to be able to pull the data back to the file server before the point in time when the files were compromised. Now, there could be a lot of files that have been compromised. There could be hundreds of thousands, millions of files that were compromised. The problem is this copy back operation. Our having to copy the files back from backup to the file server takes an awful lot of time. And it is this time that makes you so vulnerable to ransomware. The reason the copy back operation takes such a long time is not specifically tied to what backup vendor technology we're using. It has everything to do with the fact that we have to copy files back, meaning we're pulling the files from the backup and we're having to add those files, insert those files into the file server. It's the backup model that's broken. It's not the specific technology. If you have hundreds of thousands of files, it takes about 8 hours to copy 200,000 files from a backup image. You can do the math in terms of how absolutely crushing that restore time operation can be. And it is this time that none of the backup vendors want you to focus on. Time to recover that is so crucial when you're trying to neutralize a ransomware attack. This is a simple ransomware attack, single file server. What complicates the attacks and the thing that the ransomware attackers have gotten very, very good at is it's never a single file server that is compromised. And whether it's multiple file servers in a single site or file servers around the world that have followed best practices and on a daily basis are doing their backups, what happens is when you're attacked by ransomware, it will spread and it will hit your file servers in a distributed manner. Now, that creates two additional problems. The worst of these two is that when you're trying to pull back the data from the media server, from the backup image itself will become the bottleneck for being able to draw back all that data back to the file servers. So now it's not just the file servers that are the bottleneck, it's your media server because you're trying to hit it from so many file servers at the same time. These systems are designed to handle a handful of recoveries, but not a massive full distributed restore operation. The second problem is, of course, these are geographically distributed, and the network itself may present a bottleneck to the restore operation. All of this turns into time. This entire attack, your vulnerability is predicated on extending the time it will take to recover. If each of these file server takes days to recover, 1-2 days, that doesn't seem like very much, although if it's mission critical, you are going to feel the pain for 24, 48 hours. But if now you have hundreds of those file servers, we're talking about hundreds of days before you can be back and operational. That's the decision that now you have to make. Do we wait hundreds of days or do we pay the ransom? You never want to have to make that decision. Now, let me show you how Cloud File Storage recovers your data. Before I start, let's see how the test is going. The Nasuni Rapid Ransomware Recovery is completed. It took just under 30 seconds to complete the operation. 230,000 files, 160 terabytes. Traditional restore is still going, and it's going to go well beyond the length of this video. My guess, 8 to 10 hours before that process is completed. So how do we do that? The heart of it is a file system built for the cloud. UniFS, our indestructible, immutable version file system. It creates points in time that you can restore to, and you can do that at the file level, directory level, or as we saw in the demo, a complete volume restore operation. Now, this file system, it's not only immutable at the version level, but each one of the assets is actually being copied to multiple locations, multiple servers in the cloud. So it's unassailable from both the version stream perspective, but also every individual asset is copied multiple times in the cloud. What that allows us to do is have our virtual edge appliances, the Nasuni edge appliances, which for all intents and purposes behave on the front side like a regular file server. They'll do CIFS and they'll do NFS, and they'll provide a fast cache of this image, this indestructible image that sits in the cloud. The ransomware attack is made through your edge security systems. It's gone into your infrastructure, and the file servers are offering the last line of defense to this attack. The way in which the file server is able to recover from the damage is what's critical in this part of the process. Now remember, if we have to go back to a backup model, that restore operation is going to take very long, and that's going to leave you exposed. In this model, the file server is actually caching the file system that's in the cloud. And the structure of the file system is such that in order to restore to any point in time, whether it's a file, a directory, or the entire volume, all we have to do is point back to a certain point in time in the immutable version stream of the file system that's in the cloud. This is how we solve the problem. That link back operation, which is what you see here, is almost instantaneous. Most of the time is actually spent figuring out which files we need to unwind. But really, the copy back doesn't exist. It's a move operation, and what you're moving is a link in the file system itself back to a previous healthy point in time in the immutable version stream. By going back to a previous point in time in the file system, we are avoiding that long copy back operation. But the benefits don't end there. Let's look at what happens when you have a distributed ransomware attack. Remember, the two things we need to worry about are the size of the file servers, how many files or how many terabytes are compromised, but also the number of file servers that have been compromised. Now, all of these file servers are Nasuni edge appliances. They all have the ability to unwind to a previous point in time in the cloud file system. The benefit of the cloud versus a traditional media server is that you're not trying to recover from just one system, one point. The cloud is a distributed system designed to scale, designed to not only have copies that are protecting your data, every single asset is copied multiple times, as I mentioned, but every one of those copies can be used at the same time to distribute the healthy version of the system back out to these Nasuni edge appliances. This, plus a control center that allows you to manage all of these edge appliances at the same time from a central location, gives you the ability to unwind the damage across any number of file servers distributed around the world. That is a strong last line of defense. That is rapid ransomware recovery. At Nasuni, we never want you to have to make that tough call. The decision between paying the ransom or having to wait days, weeks before you can restore your files from backup. What you saw in the demo is just the tip of the iceberg. We can recover millions of files in a matter of minutes. If you want to learn more, come to nasuni.com or give us a call. Thank you.